Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video here on my channel. It's completely crazy, but I hear it so often from customers that they had so many previous developers where they are unhappy with. So today I want to show you how you can detect those unreliable developers based on their pricing models and other factors you maybe don't looked at before. But let's start with the obvious things. Does the developer have a nice portfolio? Because that's something you can look at to learn more about the background of the developer. Like how long are they working in the industry and on which projects they have worked on. But also often here I see it that people are advertising work which they maybe, which is not made by them directly. So this is something you should not mainly focus on. But what is left then and how you can find out if the developer is really reliable. Over the time I built up a small studio for Unreal Engine game development, and it surprises me how often I get contacted with strange messages like, hey, I want to build my first game, how much does it cost? And I usually reply with, well, that depends on the scope of the work and do you have like more information about that. What I want to tell you with this story is that the communication between you and the developers is very important, and that the developer can get a clear overview about the project. What we usually do there is that we schedule a meeting where we interview the potential client and support them already by setting up a Gantt overview or a roadmap, and we also assist finding factors which can reduce the time which is needed to build the first game demo, like for example using frameworks we already built in the past or using assets from the marketplace. Like this, the customer then directly see that we are competent and that we have an overview how we can build this game MVP or the demo in the most efficient way possible. And if the customer later wants to like hire us or do this stuff completely by themselves, it's of course completely up to them. But what should this long example show you now? When you don't provide the full scope of work or the developer provide you a quote straight away just by checking your game design document, this will not go well, because games are so much more complex. Just by checking your game design document, this will not go well, because games are complex projects. And I often had it in the past that I, for example, checked the game design document and thought that I understood the game concepts and all that stuff, but then I had a call with the client and parts of it was completely different. So meet with your potential developers to learn more about them and their workflow, and also present your game so they can ask more questions. Now you maybe already made those meetings back then already. Maybe let's dive into other factors which play a crucial role in selecting your developers. In the meeting, you also should check where the developer is coming from and, more important, how his work ethics are. Make your own experiences there, basically. I don't want to, discriminate other people from other countries. There are many developers in every country which are good, but you definitely should check the work ethics. In the meeting, you can also learn more about their total years of experience. You can ask some more questions about previous projects they had in their portfolio, so you can validate if that stuff is really made by them, and you can also see what they especially like worked on the project, because maybe they worked in a bigger team and they didn't do much stuff for this project. So like this you can see on which parts they directly worked. But you can also check if they are, for example, students or don't work full-time, because I saw that especially with students that they have phases in which they can't work due to exams and stuff like this, and this will just slow down your game development and is super annoying. So you now may think, cool, then I now just work with a full-time freelancer or something like that. Yeah, that's better. But here you also often have one problem. Good freelancers are always booked out, or they maybe quit your job once they find a better paid job. And especially at the development side, it is super important to have a reliable partner on your side who support you during the full development process. Things you definitely should avoid is working together with many cheap developers who just work on a few smaller tasks or bug fixes. Everyone have a different coding style, and some are more optimized than others, and I saw it often back then that the code is not even commented, or so it's hard for new developers to like navigate through it. Many people think they need a huge team of like 10 different developers, but in the most scenarios it's completely enough when you just hire one developer who maybe work full-time or part-time on your project, just with a fixed amount of hours. We will talk about that in a second, and this is often totally enough. You don't need to have 100 people on board, because then things will just like scale up with the complexity. You need to agree on a like coding style. Everything needs to get commented. You need code reviews. You need to have frequent meetings in the development team to discuss the next milestones, who will work on which tasks, and stuff like this is not always needed. All in all, what I want to tell you with this is, when you can't afford paying a developer on a monthly basis with a fixed fee and amount of hours the developer work on your game, then you should better save your money and start the development later. Otherwise, you are just burning your money with those cheap, unreliable freelancers. That's the sad truth. But trust me, back then where I started with my first game, I didn't have much money as well, and I just burned everything I had for the game, basically. Luckily, over the time, I built up a reliable team of developers and also like freelancers like 3D artists and stuff like that around me, so I can now help my clients to build their games in the most efficient way. But all in all, so you can see, all in all, freelancers are not the best fit when you're maybe looking for a reliable partner at your side to build a game project. But what's left then? Studios usually charge more and maybe also don't worth the price. I guess the goal would be to find smaller studios, or maybe also freelancers, who work on your project with a fixed monthly fee and a fixed amount of hours, and maybe even with a fixed amount of like months that you sign a contract that a developer works with you for like 6 months or something like that, with a monthly fee of, I don't know, 3 or 4K or something like that. And then you have a reliable developer. Of course, you should validate that before you sign contracts over a longer duration of time. But like this, you would have a reliable developer on your side who work on the project and who can't just got sidetracked with other projects or something like that, because he will block the time for your project and you have him logged in for a special amount of months you maybe require him. All in all, I also noticed that game projects are too complex to provide you a fixed price for it, just with seeing the game design document, because developers never can know how many extra features you may request or how many revisions you want to have. With this fixed monthly fee or the hours, you can easily make as many changes as you'd like, and the developer can easily implement it. Also, to like go through your game design document and to provide the exact pricing for all the tasks, you in theory already would need to start developing it, actually, to see how, for example, asset packs you provide work together with each other and all that stuff. So just to provide you an accurate fixed price would already take days or even weeks to do that. And when you as a developer don't know that this project will actually happen, then you usually don't do that. So it absolutely don't make sense when people provide you with a fixed price for a very huge project, because they can't take that much time to fully understand the project, to also test out the different assets and frameworks. This stuff will always fail and you will always get issues with that in the long run. We, for example, do it exactly like this. We have this hourly approach as well, and we only work on smaller projects with a fixed price. But bigger games are also getting developed with this monthly fixed fee, and we will guide the customer to make recommendations regarding the next priorities. But all in all, it will feel like ChatGPT for the customer, since they are just in a group chat with the developers and can just put their ideas in the chat or in the Trello board, and then we will implement the stuff and share image and video updates so you can directly give feedback there. This worked in the best way for us, and you can also, of course, copy those processes when you work together with your freelancers. They should provide you frequent updates, and you also should have a group chat and frequent update meetings to discuss the next priorities. In the past, we also worked with fixed budgets, but all this don't work well, since customers are maybe thought they get more revisions, or with AI characters maybe they think that the AI later will be smarter or have more features, and especially with AI AI stuff, for example, it is super hard to estimate how long stuff like this will actually take to develop, since we never know how much things need to get fine-tuned or trained and all that stuff. So please avoid developers who just provide you a fixed price there, and go ahead with professionals. You pay on an hourly base, but also here you should of course stay in contact with them to carefully check the progress with the games, and if it's not fast enough in your opinion, so in the best case you also have development experience yourself and you know how long things usually should take, and as I mentioned, if stuff like that don't go fast enough, then you can easily stop the cooperation directly in the beginning. Then it don't make sense to agree on a fixed duration of a month where the developer should work on your project. Just make a test phase in the beginning where you can see how the developer is doing, and after that you can always see how you want to continue that. The last tip I can also give you is of course not to pay the full amount before the start. Go ahead with 50%, and then the developer should provide image and video updates, so you can always give feedback to it directly, so you can pay the rest before the delivery or at the 50% mark. Once 50% of the project is done, 50% of the hours are spent or something like that, then you pay the next amount basically. I hope those tips already helped you a little bit more to find reliable developers, or to also adjust your processes and your, in general, how you work together with developers to get better results basically. And if you have more questions, then let me know it in the comments. Maybe I can also make a new video next time where I can show you how you can actually find reliable developers, like on which platforms, for example, you would need to search and what you should look at there. And of course, we also would be very happy to learn more about your game project, to give you some feedback and to also help you working out a strategy how you can build your first game demo in the most efficient way possible. In the description of the video you can find my email address, or you can also find a link there to directly book a free meeting with me, so we can talk more about your unique game and your unique situation. And I'm already looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed the video, but that's it from me. Take care, have a nice rest of your day. Bye.